What's up, guys? I'm tired. As always, I'm always tired. No matter what I do, I'm always tired. Regardless of whether I'm tired or not, there's a load we're going to pick up today. Oh man, look at all these bugs. I told myself when I got back from Montana I was gonna wash. Ooh, look at all, ew. Look at all those bugs. Ew, there's so many freaking bugs. It's getting on my hands. It's disgusting. Look at all these bugs on the bumper. Ew. I told myself I was gonna wash Ruby when we came home from Montana, but I was too freaking tired. I went to bed. And it's a good thing I did, because I got a couple hours of sleep. And I wake up to find that they want me to go to Boise, Idaho with a super set. So we're gonna be doing a super set to through Utah and Idaho. So 2 45-foot trailers. At least that's what they texted me, you know. Anything can change. If the trailers aren't quite ready, then maybe they'll only load a single. But yeah, anyways. Let's see how good this mic is when Ruby's running. Can you still hear me? Anyways, let's get driving. All right, guys. Well, here we are. Hooked up to our beautiful land train, but I have some problems. Oh, look how long that sucker is. Oh my gosh. Ugh. So, my problem is I'm freaking heavy, dude. Freaking heavy, bro. Who the heck is texting me? So, typically, when we haul these double sets for these guys, we get lucky. And even though we're pulling long double sets, we're usually like under 80,000 pounds gross. Unfortunately, that is not the case tonight. I have 38,000 pounds in my front trailer. And I have 24. Oh, I have 24. Oh, shoot. I have between the two trailers, I have about 60,000 pounds of payload, which means my gross is sitting right about 105,000 pounds. And currently, Ruby, I only have a Utah over length permit. I don't have an overweight permit for Utah. So I'm going to have to call Utah. I'm not going to buy the annual, because if you buy the annual, it's $500. I think a single trip is like $30. It might be more than that. I'm not sure. But Idaho is different. I'm going to have to call Idaho now, because Idaho, even though Idaho is kind of weird, because what they do is they sell you an overlength and an overweight annual, and it's only $45. But here's the catch. They make you register your truck to the weight, your maximum allowable weight, or whatever you're wanting to haul, which, and I know the reason they do that. They do that because when you do your IFTA reporting and your fuel for, you know, your permits and crap, they charge you more per mile when you do your IFTA. So I'm thinking I might be able to get away with it. Maybe if I buy like I might be able to work around it. I need to call the DOT officer back, because we had an incident about a year ago where one of my drivers, we didn't get an overweight ticket, but the DOT officer explained that just because you have an overweight permit in Idaho, it doesn't actually allow you to be overweight unless you register the truck to the maximum allowable limit, which doesn't make any sense to me because I'm like, what did I buy the permit for? But anyway, so yeah, so I was supposed to leave a half hour ago. They just barely got the trailer hooked up for me. I just did a good pre-trip, walked around, everything looked good. But yeah, now I have to figure out my permits. Really did not want to buy $100 worth of permits today. So anyway, so I got to make some calls. But we're freaking heavy. Yeah, we're about 105,000 pounds gross, which I have enough axles to do that. I have enough axles easily to do that, but it's heavy, man. We are getting fuel here in the Tremont, Utah Maverick. Technical difficulties. Can you guys hear me? I got my mic up here. So I should have enough fuel to get to the Twin Falls Maverick, but since I'm pulling this heavy set, I mean, you just look how big that sucker is. Actually, you can't really see it from this side. Look at my tail back there. Goes all the way back. I just wanted to make sure I had enough fuel. I didn't want to run out of fuel somewhere.
Losing control, I gotta know who's in control of me. Losing control, I'm gonna explode. Can you bring it back to me? Bring it back to me. Bring it back to me. Bring it back to me. It's making me feel so weak. Feeling like a puppet controlled by.
What's up? I don't know if it's better to put it down here or up here. I see a lot of guys put their mics on their hats. I think it's kind of cool, actually. But I don't know which way. Should have it facing like that. All right, we just left frickin' Boise. Made our SWIP swap last night. I took about a 4-hour nap there in Boise. I got there at like 3 a.m. And I couldn't find the paperwork for this trailer coming home. So I also have another superset. So I got another two 45-foot trailers behind me. So we're still over length, 115 foot long. But I'm not overweight this time. My pup trailer's empty, and I got about 30,000 pounds in the lead trailer. So we're legal under 80,000 pounds. So it's all good. But yeah, I took a quick nap there. I got myself a pick-me-up juice. I tried to go off of energy drinks for a few weeks, and I realized it just made me a miserable person. No, I'm just teasing. Anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about what I was saying last night, because last night I was talking about how, Idaho is different than Utah when it comes to overweight and overlength permits. And I just want to say, you really, really want to know the rules. Anytime you're doing anything bigger than a 53-foot trailer, or you're doing anything heavier than 80,000 pounds, you really, really want to know what you're doing. And you got to ask as many questions as you can to DOT, because they're not going to answer your questions all the time. So here's what I was saying last night is Idaho will sell you a $45, what the heck? There's a truck that's driven off the side of the road. Idaho will sell you a $45 over length, over width permit for 115 foot long and a total gross of 129,000 pounds for a non-divisible. That's another thing. You got to know the difference between non-divisible and divisible. We are divisible because we're just hauling palletized freight. Non-divisible means you can't take it apart, so that's like oversized stuff, like the pool I hauled 2 months ago. Anyways, so you hear that and you think, $45 for an annual permit? That is awesome. Why wouldn't anyone do that? Why wouldn't everyone do that? And that's what I thought too at first, until I learned the difference. And we didn't get any overweight tickets or anything, but the DOT officer told my driver in Sage Junction, Idaho, he told me that just because you have the permit doesn't mean you can be heavy. And at first I was arguing with him. I was like, then what's the point of buying the permit? And he's like, well, no, that gives you the right to be over 80,000 pounds, but you still have to register your truck for that weight. So even though I bought basically the overweight permits for every single one of my trucks, even though you buy that permit, you have to re-register your truck so it shows the maximum that you're going to regularly be hauling. So, like, if you're going to be 100,000 pounds, you have to register your truck. So your cab card, which is in my white booklet behind my seat, when you register the truck and you get your license plate every year, they print off your cab card, right? And a lot of people don't really know this, and this isn't something you'd know unless you're like an owner-operator registering a truck. But you can go in for your IFTA and you put in every single state what your maximum allowable weight is. And the reason they do that is because you get taxed on your fuel tax differently based on the weight that your truck is registered to drive at. So if you register a truck in Idaho for 129,000 pounds gross, you're paying more every mile in taxes, even though you're not overweight. Say you do that. Say you re-register your truck so it's overweight, but then you never are actually overweight. You're overpaying on taxes because the state thinks that that's about where you're going to be, so they tax you accordingly based on your maximum allowable weight. Which, I understand why they do that, but I don't know why they didn't tell me this when I bought the overweight permit. Like, you should tell somebody that's buying the permit, hey, you still got to go re-register your truck because your truck only shows 80,000 pounds, Anyway, so basically, if you get the $45 everything permit for Idaho, it's only good for overlay, which is good for me because most of the time when we pull these doubles, we're less than 80,000 pounds. We maybe have 20 to 30,000 pounds when we're pulling those Rocky sets through Idaho, so it works out for us. And I'm not going to re-register my truck just for one load that's overweight. So that's just my philosophy. So I just bought the single trip overweight. But yeah, you really got to know the rules because Utah is totally different. Utah, it's a $500 permit, and that allows you to be on Utah roads overweight. So, anyways, yeah, ask questions. If you know you're going to be hauling overweight, over length, get your permits figured out because it is a very awkward situation. And especially when it comes to overweight, they do not mess around with that. If you're a couple thousand pounds overweight, just get ready. You're going to have like very expensive ticket, upwards of the thousands and thousands of dollars. So Super Ego slowing down ahead of me, and we're going downhill now. So we'll catch you guys when I get home. Gosh, that's so freaking long. I'm literally twice the length of this Swift truck. Oh my gosh. Wow, you meet some of the funniest people in the truck stops, I tell you. Sorry, we're just getting back on the interstate. We stopped at the shoot, what's the name of this place? Garden of Eden. Bouncy. Dude, there's this guy talking to me while I was waiting to go to the bathroom. I did pretty good. I didn't buy any snacks at the Garden of Eden. So, but one guy asked me why I had a microphone on my hat, and then another guy asked. I set my camera up so I could video myself pulling out of the fuel pump island. And I pulled next to a Coca-Cola truck, and the guy's like, "Why'd you stop right there?" And I'm like, "I'll be quick. I'm just getting my camera." So, yeah, that Garden of Eden is pretty nice. They did a lot of work to that place. It's a pretty nice place now. I haven't used the showers or nothing, so I can't vouch for that. But they got a lot of parking, and so yeah, you're gonna be spending a lot of money if you stop in there. But it seems like a nice enough place. It's close enough to home for me, though, that I'd never really, I don't think I'll ever really stop there because, like, you know, it's only like 150 miles away from home. So why would I stop and sleep there? I might as well just power through and get home, you know?